Hello students, today we will learn new chapter 5, an empire across 3 continents. We will mainly focus on the Roman Empire. The ancient Roman Empire, which was spread across the 3 continents, namely Europe, Asia and Africa. To the north, the boundaries of empire was formed by 2 great rivers, the Rhine and the Danube. To the south, by the huge expanse of desert called Sahara. To the east, river Euphrates, and to the west, Atlantic Ocean. This vast stretch of territory was the Roman Empire. That is why Roman Empire is called an empire across 3 continents. The Mediterranean Sea is called the heart of Rome's empire. Powerful empires of Rome and Iran ruled over most of the Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East from the birth of Christ up to 630 AD. The two empires lay next to each other. A narrow strip of land running along the river Euphrates separated the two superpowers of the time. In spite of being so closely located, the Romans and the Iranians did not have neighborly relations. They were rivals instead. The Roman Empire. Rome was founded by the twin brothers Romulus and Remus on the left bank of the river Tiber in the Italian peninsula in the middle of the 8th century before Christ. Rome was set up in a place where it was convenient for crossing the river and protected by the hills and marshes. Rome occupied a strategic position, and slowly and gradually merchants and craftsmen began to settle in the city. The Romans occupied the neighboring towns and settled a part of their inhabitants there. Romans abolished monarchy. They started to establish a republic and developed a democratic government. The Romans conquered Italy and the whole of the Mediterranean region. Rome became one of the mightiest empires under Julius Caesar, who became the undisputed master of the Roman Empire in 37 BC. In 27 BC, the Republicans was overwhelmed and Rome was again united under one ruler and the Republic gave way to the empire. Now, political evolution of the Roman Empire from 27 BC to AD 600. In the life of the Roman Empire, the 3rd century constitutes a landmark dividing the empire into 2 phases called early and late. The period till most of the 3rd century is called the early empire and the period after that is identified as the late empire. In other words, the whole period from the beginning of the Roman Empire to the main part of the 3rd century can be called the early empire and the period from the 3rd century to the end called the late empire. Now, the early empire. The Roman Republic lasted from 510 BC to 27 BC. During this period of nearly 5 centuries, there were significant changes in the structure of the Republic. Between 280 BC to 146 BC, Rome was constantly at war. Again, for 70 years, from 100 BC onwards, it witnessed a series of violence. Roman people were fed up of these chronic conditions of the Republic. These conditions served the rise of monarchy. Now, the rise of Augustus Octavian. Augustus was the adopted son and successor of Julius Caesar. Augustus was declared a child of a divine person. Augustus used Caesar, the family name of Julius Caesar. Octavian, who was called Augustus Caesar, after 27 BC, transformed the entire character of the Roman state. Augustus ruled over Rome for 4 decades till his death in 14 BC. In 27 BC, the Senate of the Republic gave way for the Octavian to rule the Rome. Augustus did not want to become the absolute ruler or a despot. It was because he respected the Senate. Who are the Senate? The Senate had existed for centuries. It was composed of the aristocrats, wealthiest families of Romans, the body which controlled Rome earlier when Rome was a republic. Augustus was careful not to hurt the sentiments which the people had for the Roman republican traditions. He cleverly retrained the outward form of republic, but altered the actual content of the Roman state. He had no loyal title like a king. He was called Principate. He ruled as a Princeps, which merely means first citizens. This was done to demonstrate respect to the Senate, the body which controlled Rome when it was a republic. Also, he retrained most of the political institutions. Theoretically, at least, the authority of the ruler was based on the consent of the citizens. Three main components of the political structures: the ruler, the senate, and the army. Augustus ensured a proper balance between these three centers of the power, thereby putting an end to the long period of instability. The reign of Augustus has been described as a long and glorious era of peace and stability. It was defined by the term Pax Romana, which means the Roman peace. Augustus did not ignore the powerful Senate. Senate had been and remained a body representing the aristocracy or the wealthy Roman citizen, and later the rich landowners. Augustus limited its authority but still allowed it to remain an important part of the government. Army, the next organ, was the main source of Augustus' power. The military leadership also had a key role to play in the affairs of the state. Augustus made the military leadership fully subservient to him. He was the supreme commander of the Roman army. In short, he was their patron. His military commanders were the members of his own family or a man of immediate circle. He also kept the army busy in major campaigns in Spain, the Alban regions, along with the Danube and Rhine rivers, across the Rhine in Germany, and in numerous small-scale actions along with the empire's founders. When active campaigns were not engaged, as in Gaul, France, or in the East, the army was used as a means to help the political settlements. Under Augustus, Romans had a paid professional army, where soldiers had to put in a minimum of 25 years of service. The army was the largest single organized body in the empire, with 6 lakh soldiers in the 4th century. Administrative reforms. Augustus also reformed and refined the administrative system of the Roman Empire in many ways. Augustus appointed senators to newly created positions, such as the curators of the aqueducts or of the public works and the prefectures of the cities. Senators were in charge in many positions. Augustus also drew administrators from the non-senatorial section of the city. Augustus' administrative reforms was to create permanent standing offices headed by long-term appointments in place of republican system which preferred occasional and rotating appointments. Augustus not only brought peace, but he also brought them good government. Augustus created a centralized system of courts under his own personal supervision. He also assumed the direct control over the provincial governors, punishing them severely for corruption and extortions. Augustus made tax collection a state function. Taxes were now collected efficiently and new import taxes were introduced. Now, art and